Like, comment, and subscribe.
Far below the waves of the deep blue ocean stood a magnificent palace made of glittering seashells and coral. This was the home of the mighty Sea King, ruler of the underwater world. He had 6 beautiful daughters, each one graceful and kind, but the youngest of them all was the most curious. Her name was Ariel. Ariel was unlike her sisters. While they loved to sing sweet songs and play with dolphins in the palace gardens, Ariel often wandered far away, dreaming of something more. She was fascinated by the world above the sea, the mysterious land of humans. Her sisters were content with their lives under the waves, but Ariel longed to see the skies, the birds, and the strange two-legged creatures who lived on land. She kept a secret cave where she collected treasures that sank from ships. Shiny forks, mirrors, bottles, and little trinkets filled her shelves. Each object made her wonder about the humans who had once used them. Ariel's best friend, Flounder the fish, often helped her carry these treasures, though he was a little afraid of getting caught by the Sea King's guards. One evening, Ariel swam to the surface, as she often did. The ocean sparkled under the golden sunset. She rested on a rock and gazed at the distant shore. She watched as seagulls soared high in the sky, something she wished she could do. "If only I had legs and could walk on land," she whispered to herself. But the Sea King had strict rules. He had warned his daughters never to rise too high or mingle with humans. He believed humans were dangerous and untrustworthy. Ariel respected her father, but in her heart she felt humans could not be all bad. After all, they made such beautiful things, and their world seemed so full of light and wonder. Her grandmother, a wise old mermaid, often told her stories about the human world. She explained that when mermaids turned 15, they were allowed to rise to the surface and look at the land for the first time. Ariel counted the days impatiently. She was the youngest princess, so she would have to wait longer than her sisters. Still, her excitement only grew stronger with each passing year. On her 15th birthday, the Sea King gave her a crown of pearls and blessed her with a fatherly kiss. Ariel's heart beat faster than ever, for this was the day she had long been waiting for, the day she could finally rise above the sea without breaking the rules. With graceful strokes, she swam upward, higher and higher, until the water grew brighter and the surface shimmered above her. When her head finally broke through the waves, her eyes widened in wonder. Before her stretched the vast open sky, painted with stars and a glowing moon. The air felt cool against her skin, and she breathed it in with delight. For the first time, Ariel saw the world she had only dreamed of. She did not know that this single night would change her life forever. The moon shone brightly across the waves as Ariel floated on the surface, taking in the wonders of the world above. Suddenly, in the distance, she saw a magnificent ship sailing proudly across the sea. Its tall masts carried glowing lanterns, and music drifted across the water. Curious, Ariel swam closer. Peeking from behind a rock, she saw people dancing on the deck, laughing and clapping to cheerful tunes. She had never seen such joy before, but among all the people, one figure caught her heart, the young prince. He was tall, handsome, and full of life. His smile shone brighter than the stars, and his kind eyes made Ariel's heart race. She watched him with wonder, unable to look away. For hours, she floated near the ship, listening to the music and staring at the prince. Then, without warning, dark clouds rolled across the sky. Thunder boomed, and waves rose higher and higher. A violent storm had struck. The ship was tossed about like a toy, and the sailors shouted in fear as lightning lit up the night sky. Ariel gasped as the prince was thrown into the raging sea. She didn't hesitate. Diving into the waves, she swam with all her strength toward him. The waters crashed around her, but Ariel pushed forward, determined to save him. She reached the prince just as he began to sink. Wrapping her arms around him, she lifted him to the surface and carried him through the storm. It took all her strength, but at last she brought him to the shore. The beach was quiet, bathed in the pale light of dawn. Ariel gently laid the prince on the sand. He was unconscious, but she could see his chest rising and falling. She sang softly to him, her beautiful voice filling the air like a lullaby. Slowly the prince stirred. His eyes fluttered open for just a moment, and though he could not see her clearly, he heard her voice and felt her presence before slipping back into sleep. Hearing voices in the distance, Ariel knew she had to hide. Humans were coming to help him. She gave him one last look, her heart aching, then slipped back into the sea. From the water, she watched as people gathered around the prince, lifting him carefully. He woke fully now, looking around as if searching for something, or someone. Ariel's heart leapt. She knew he was looking for the voice that had saved him. But she was gone. Hidden beneath the waves, she whispered to herself, "I love him." And though the prince did not know it yet, Ariel had given her heart away. From that day forward, she longed not only for the human world, but for the prince who lived there. Ariel could not forget the prince. Day and night she thought of him, his smile, his kindness, the way he had looked around for her on the shore. She visited her secret cave and held her treasures, but even they brought her no comfort. Her sisters noticed her sadness, and Flounder tried to cheer her up, but nothing worked. Ariel's heart ached to be with the prince. One day, her grandmother told her a tale. "Mermaids can never live with humans, child. We belong to the sea, and they belong to the land." But Ariel refused to believe it. There had to be a way. At last, in desperation, she swam to the dark part of the ocean where few dared to go. There lived Ursula, the sea witch, who was feared by all. Her lair was full of strange glowing plants and slithering creatures. When Ariel arrived, Ursula welcomed her with a sly smile. "Well, well, the little princess," Ursula said in her deep, cunning voice. "I know what you want. You're in love with a human prince, aren't you?" Ariel gasped. "How did you—" "I see everything," Ursula interrupted. "And I can help you. I can give you legs, so you may walk on land, dance with your prince, and win his heart." Ariel's eyes lit up. "You can do that?" "Yes," Ursula said, "but nothing comes without a price." "What price?" Ariel whispered. "Your voice," Ursula replied, "your beautiful, enchanting voice. You will never sing again, never speak again. In exchange, you will have legs. But listen carefully. If the prince does not fall in love with you and marry you, you will turn back into a mermaid and belong to me forever." Ariel hesitated. Her voice was her greatest gift. But when she thought of the prince, her heart burned with love. She nodded firmly. "I will do it." Ursula cackled as she brewed a glowing potion. "Drink this on the shore and your tail will turn into legs. But remember, child, time is short." With trembling and as Ariel signed the contract. Ursula took her voice, sealing it inside a magical seashell. Ariel tried to cry out, but no sound came. The witch handed her the potion. Ariel swam quickly to the surface, clutching it tightly. With one last look at the sea, she drank. Pain shot through her body as her tail split into 2 legs. Gasping, she fell unconscious on the shore. When she awoke, she was lying on the sand. The sun warmed her face and she looked down. Her tail was gone. In its place were 2 pale, slender legs. She tried to stand, wobbling clumsily. Just then, she heard footsteps. The prince was walking along the beach. Ariel's heart leapt. He was right there, so close she could almost touch him. But when she tried to call his name, no sound came from her lips. She had no voice. The prince stopped when he saw Ariel lying on the beach. She looked weak, but her beauty shone in the morning light. He rushed to her side and gently helped her sit up. "Are you all right?" he asked kindly. Ariel tried to answer, but no words came. She touched her throat, remembering her bargain with Ursula. The prince frowned in concern. "You cannot speak?" Ariel shook her head. He smiled softly. "Then come with me. I'll take you to the castle. You'll be safe there." He wrapped a cloak around her shoulders and helped her walk. Ariel's legs wobbled, for she had never walked before. Every step was painful, yet she bore it bravely. At the castle, Ariel was given a room and fine clothes. Servants whispered about the mysterious girl the prince had rescued, but he paid them no mind. He treated Ariel with kindness, showing her the gardens, the library, and even the horses. Ariel was filled with wonder. She had dreamed of this life, and now it was real. She walked barefoot through the palace halls, marveled at the stars from the windows, and watched humans go about their daily lives. Still, her heart longed for one thing: to be loved by the prince. But there was one problem. The prince often spoke of a girl who had once saved his life, a girl with a voice as beautiful as a songbird. Ariel's heart ached. He was searching for her, but he did not know that Ariel was that very girl. Still, Ariel did all she could to stay close to him. She smiled when he spoke, laughed silently at his jokes, and showed kindness to everyone she met. Slowly, the prince grew fond of her. He enjoyed her company, and felt at peace when she was near, though he still wondered about the mysterious voice from the shore. One evening, the prince invited Ariel to a grand ball. She wore a shimmering gown and danced gracefully with him, though her feet burned with every step from Ursula's cruel magic. He endured the pain, smiling through it because she was happy to be with him. The prince looked into her eyes that night, and for a moment Ariel thought he might love her. But before he could speak, something happened that would shatter her hope. The next morning, a great announcement spread through the kingdom. The prince was to be married. Ariel's heart nearly stopped. How could this be? The truth was far darker than she imagined. Ursula, the sea witch, had taken on a disguise. She transformed herself into a beautiful young woman and walked onto the shore. Around her neck hung the seashell that contained Ariel's stolen voice. With it, she sang the song Ariel had once sung to the prince. When the prince heard it, he was enchanted. "You are the one who saved me," he declared, certain this mysterious woman was his rescuer. Under Ursula's spell, he announced their wedding. Ariel watched in despair as the palace filled with preparations. The prince, the man she loved, was slipping away. She wanted to scream, to tell him the truth, but no words would come. Flounder and Scuttle, Ariel's seagull friend, noticed something strange. They followed Ursula and discovered her true identity. Horrified, they rushed to Ariel. Scuttle explained through frantic gestures that the woman was the sea witch in disguise. Ariel's eyes widened. If she did not stop the wedding, she would lose the prince and her freedom forever. On the day of the wedding, the ship was decorated with flowers. The prince stood at the altar, and beside him Ursula smiled slyly. Ariel's heart broke, but she refused to give up. With the help of her friends, chaos erupted. Seagulls swooped down, tearing at Ursula's hair, while Flounder splashed water at her. In the struggle, the seashell around Ursula's neck broke open. Ariel's voice escaped, swirling back into her throat. She gasped and spoke for the first time. "Prince! It's me! I saved you!" The prince turned in shock. "That voice! It was you all along!" Ursula's disguise shattered, revealing her true monstrous form. The prince and Ariel stood together, but Ursula was not finished yet. Furious, she grew larger and darker, summoning a storm upon the sea. The final battle was about to begin. Waves crashed against the ship as Ursula rose from the water, towering over them with her tentacles thrashing wildly. Lightning split the sky, and the wind howled. The wedding ship rocked dangerously. "You fools!" Ursula bellowed. "You think you can defy me? Ariel belongs to me." Ariel and the prince held on to each other as the ship tilted. The sailors scrambled in fear, but the prince stood firm. "You will not take her!" he shouted. With a mighty strike, Ursula tried to drag Ariel into the sea, but Flounder and Scuttle darted in to distract her. Ariel fought back bravely, no longer afraid. She grabbed a rope and climbed the mast, calling to the prince for help. The prince seized the ship's wheel, steering it toward Ursula. "Hold on, Ariel!" he cried. With great force, the ship's sharp bow rammed into Ursula. She screamed in fury, her magic swirling violently. The seashell shattered completely, and her dark power began to fade. "No!" Ursula roared, sinking beneath the waves. With a final crash of thunder, she disappeared into the depths, never to be seen again. The sea calmed, the skies cleared, and the storm was gone. Exhausted but victorious, Ariel and the prince fell into each other's arms. For the first time, she felt truly free. But though Ursula was defeated, Ariel's future was still uncertain. She was still a mermaid at heart, torn between two worlds. The Sea King, who had watched everything from afar, rose from the water. His face was stern, but his eyes softened when he saw his daughter. He had seen her courage, her sacrifice, and her love. "You truly love him," the Sea King said. Ariel nodded, her eyes shining with hope. The king sighed deeply. "Then perhaps it is time I let you go." With a wave of his trident, he cast a spell. A soft golden light wrapped around Ariel, and her tail vanished, replaced by human legs. She gasped, looking down at herself in wonder. The prince took her hand, smiling with tears in his eyes. "Now we can be together," he whispered. The Sea King placed Ariel's hand into the prince's. "Take care of her," he said solemnly. "I will," the prince promised. And so, a grand wedding was held, not on land or sea alone, but on a beautiful shore where both humans and merfolk gathered. Ariel's sisters watched proudly, and Flounder and Scuttle cheered. The kingdom celebrated as Ariel and the prince pledged their love. From that day on, Ariel lived as a human princess, but she never forgot her ocean home. She often stood on the shore, gazing at the waves, her heart full of love for both worlds. She had followed her dreams, fought bravely for her love, and created a bridge between land and sea. And so the Little Mermaid found her happily ever after.